Thank you. You know, it's a community we see, but don't hear from because of their traditional beliefs.
Experts say the Amish deal with a very present concern, addiction. WSBT-22's Hillary Powell is here, and Hillary, an area man, is kind of on a mission to help.
That's right. It's a project Amish elders have supported for more than a decade, a substance abuse group for Amish youth. Counselors say it's providing help in communities where the topic of addiction is gaining increasing awareness. It's a contradiction many of us don't often see, a close-knit home filled with tradition. At the same time, teens experimenting with the modern world and its temptations during a rite of passage called Rumspringa.
For the Amish, they do it at 16. They do it while they're still living at home.
The experimentation with drugs and alcohol. The hum of horse hooves greet therapist Chris Weber each week in a town where horse and buggies carry old order Amish. His clients park their buggies to seek his addictions counseling inside a house of help.
I've seen people, in probation offices and courts and other places, when they first discover that, my gosh, the Amish drink, that they're kind of offended and upset.
For more than a decade, the two-story tan home for the Amish Youth Vision Project has helped teens who are court-ordered to do substance abuse counseling.
Most of the kids that I work with aren't addicts. They're what you run into with most juvenile arrests, which is mostly just kids that are binge drinking, experimenting.
A neat row of chairs is usually filled with teens from the third largest population of old order Amish in the nation.
The culturally accepted thing is a lot of drinking. They're almost always arrested in a group.
A group because Weber says growing up Amish is different. Everything is done in mass, sometimes up to 1,000 people at a time, even parties. During Rumspringa, kids raised Amish walk away from home at age 16 before deciding if they'll join the church. One former Amish man who didn't want to be on camera says young people who leave home are told it's the reason they're not going to heaven, so they just let go.
Developmentally, what they're doing is they're like figuring out where their limits are. They'll party for a little bit, they'll drink, they'll experiment with other things.
There is drug problems among the Plain community, but I know of a young gal that's actually at Team Challenge right now.
This man was part of more than 400 Amish who learned about the consequences of drug and alcohol from the Indiana State Police. Amish elders asked for the meeting. Senior Trooper David Caswell says he's seen the fallout of drug use among the Amish community.
We have encountered Amish men and women who were impaired that had passed out in the buggy and the horse was taking them home.
The state doesn't track deaths by religion, but in all of Elkhart County in 2016, 27 people died from alcohol-related causes compared to 23 for drugs. Connie Kerrigan is an outreach director for Parkview Health. She says the group dynamic that makes the Amish so close-knit can also be a barrier for fighting addiction.
Addiction is well steeped in shame. There's a lot of, we keep our business at home and we don't share that with other people. So the more that we can begin to break down those cultural walls, the better off we're going to be.
That's why Weber says he tailors his treatment to fit Amish social norms.
They're not used to talking about themselves, they're not used to talking about choices.
He teaches a harm reduction model, encouraging kids to fight peer pressure regardless of the size of the group.
You realize that, the best you can do is help people help themselves. Your job is to help people help themselves.
And when they leave the walls of this house, Weber says they've created a new tradition. Experts tell me the counseling is really about honoring and respecting an individual's religious practices while addressing an addiction that can affect all communities. Weber tells me his class works best when it's with all Amish members, and usually an Amish teacher leads most of those groups. Todd, we have more information on WSBT.com about those services.
Very, very interesting, Hillary. Thanks. We're glad they're getting help. Addiction impacts, of course, more than just the person using drugs. Many children of addicts end up in the foster care system as their parents try to get clean. Tonight on WSBT 22 News at 10 on Fox Michiana, Jessie Schultz looks into the issue in her special report, Abandoned by Addicts.